I won't keep you waiting any longer, so without further ado, welcome to episode 8 of the Kessel Run Review. We have some great custom cargo and a look at an amazing online comic. But I'm going to start off by showing you some of my first vintage collection figures. The pair of vintage collection figures we have here are Yavin Ceremony Han and the Attack of the Clones Senate Guard. I don't think the arrival of either of these figures was met with the biggest fanfare. But looking at them in person, I find them both to be pretty cool, and I do like the retro vintage packaging. The Yavin Han has a somewhat animated look to him that kind of reminds me of the Han from the Dave School animation short, The Solo Adventures. He will probably look great with the animated Chewbacca we're bound to get now that Chewie appeared on the animated series. This Han is articulated just about everywhere he could be, and was created with a high level of detail. I also picked up the Vintage Collection Senate Guard because I really like the overall look of this character and how the design echoes a Roman centurion. He has full articulation with the exception of his ankles. His torso, legs, and hands are the same ones as on the Revenge of the Sith Royal Guard, but he has new arms, head, and double-layered soft goods. He comes with a blaster rifle, a pistol, and an electro staff.
All in all new 2-1B psychological analysis droid. He says he loves her. She says she loves him. But she's got a secret. She was born a Hutt. And she's been off fighting for the Republic. Now she's back, and she's got a confession to make.
Well, 2-1B, I cheated on my boyfriend with a Wookiee. And I'm not sorry either.
All that and more on the next 2-1B Psychological Analysis Droid.
Why are all the Star Wars talk show hosts droids or Mon Calamari? In case you don't already know who won the Imperial Shipyards Build-A-Mini-Rig contest, it was Hangar Bay 94. The prize was an awesome custom ARC 170, and Hangar Bay said he is adding it to the generous donations going to Eli. There's already another fantastic contest underway, the Trash to Treasure contest, so get to the yards and look for it. Are you ready for some custom cargo? This time, Darth Daddy and Elias are back with some seductive dancers from Jabba's palace. But first, I have an awesome grown-up Ahsoka for you from Sputta Fett.
I made a lot of special modifications myself.
To create this version of a grown-up Ahsoka, Sputta Fett took the Lei Ku from a Clone Wars Shaak Ti, then trimmed an Ahsoka head until he was left with just the face and bald head. Once he had enough of the head trimmed away, he fitted inside Shaak Ti's head tails and glued it in place. For the body, Sputta Fett used Shaak Ti's arms on a Ventress body and trimmed up the sternum, then used Sculpey to reform the stomach. He finished her off with a crisp paint job and made a new belt from Ventress's. You can get a look at more from Sputta Fett at sputtafett.deviantart.com. Before Ula, Jabba had quite a few dancers pass through his doors, but these two were by far his favorites. Torgruta Lovely and Claudite Maria were well known throughout the galaxy before finding their way to Jabba's palace. Lovely was kidnapped as a young Torgruta and sold on the black market. She quickly found her way to the home of the powerful aristocrat Prince Xizor, where she became one of his prized possessions. She was acquired by Jabba when Xizor was believed dead when Vader ordered his ship, the Fallian's Fist, destroyed. Lovely was created from a slave Leia and a Clone Wars Shaak Ti. The Claudite dancer Miria was no slave. In fact, she was probably the most famous dancer of her day, and was paid a considerable fortune for her performances at Jabba's palace. While not appealing to the eye in her original form, she was well known for her mesmerizing dances and her ability to take any form while she danced. Miriya was created from a slave Leia and a Zamwasel Claudite head. The hair was from a Power of the Force 2 Griata. Unfortunately, both dancers were killed in Crossfire as a result of a petty argument between two local thugs, who were quickly fed to Jabba's Rancor for their insolence. Not only will you find a lot more work from Darth Daddy and Elias on the yards, but also on their blog. You can also find an extensive collection of work by many other customizers as well. Check them out at customsforthekid.blogspot.com.
I made a lot of special modifications myself.
Creating graphic fiction involves so many different facets of creativity, including storytelling, custom character creation, and graphics generation. It's a job that's not usually done by just one artist, but that's exactly what Kulan does to bring us tales from the Clone Wars. Ever since he was young, two of Kulan's biggest passions have been Star Wars and writing. So he originally started out writing fan fiction, but since Star Wars is such an intense visual experience, he found it difficult to get across that cinematic flair using words alone. Upon reading some Dark Horse Star Wars comics, Kulan came to the conclusion that comics were the best way to combine the detailed writing of fan fiction with the visual grandeur of the films. Utilizing a creative form of 3D model kit bashing, ModView and Photoshop, Kulan has brought 2 volumes of his online comic, Tales from the Clone Wars, to life. Volume 1 is focused on Anakin as he meets a group of Jedi who have refused the Council's order to lead the clone army. He has to come to terms with whether or not it's right to always follow masters like Yoda, Windu, and even Obi-Wan, who is busy himself attempting to stop General Grievous from decimating Alderaan. In Volume 2, the focus shifts to original characters, in particular the orphan Jedi Padawan Zell and her loyal clone commander Recoil. Together, Zell and Recoil must attempt to bring one of Dooku's most ruthless acolytes, the evil Castrafa, to justice. But they soon find themselves caught up in a web of conspiracies woven by both the Separatists and the Republic itself. Kulan says the plan is to increase everything as the series progresses. Battles are going to be bigger, Republic defeats are going to increase, and the whole tone of the comic is going to get even darker. Coming up in the next issue, we will see Luminara and Dooley starring in her very own one-shot, and future chapters will explore deeper into the past of Zell and Castrafa. If you'd like to further explore the world of Tales from the Clone Wars, go to www.starwarscomic.webs.com. A big thank you to all the artists who submitted their work for this week's show. And be sure to tune in to Custom Action Figure News this week, because I'll be on there with Wrath 9, Lucas Clones, and Tamer. Until next time, may the Force be with you.
He can go about his business. Move along.
Coming up, more on the insurance fraud case of Jedi Master Yoda. Authorities tell us why they think he has now fled Coruscant, and what he may have to do with the catastrophic explosion at the Jedi Temple. Plus, we'll talk to an old woman on Ryloth who is making a surprisingly good living selling furniture constructed from destroyed battle droids that litter the planet. All that and more coming up on tonight's HoloNet News 9.